I'd like to formally welcome you all here. It's great to have you this evening and appreciate you joining us. If you weren't here when I first spoke, my name's Terry Evans. I'm the secretary of the Natick Historical Society, standing in for Nikki Lefebvre. We were established in 1870, and today we remain an independent nonprofit that receives no public funds. We thrive on the support of our community members, and I want to extend my thanks to all of our supporters who make programs like these possible. So thank you. This is Kindness Week in Natick, and I can't think of a more appropriate program to have to mark that occasion than the Natick Service Council. I'm pleased to introduce Dan Shea, who is with us this evening. This program is part of our Meet Our Neighbors series, which shines a light on local organizations that have shaped Natick in the past, present, and future. This is the third program in our fall run. It's the final event of this season, but we're already making plans for the spring 2022 season that I think you're going to enjoy, so please stay tuned. I also do want to make note of two other upcoming programs the Society has in December. On December 1st, we're going to be featuring Carol Bartlett, Natick librarian, who's going to join us for an orientation about the Morse Institute Library's new research database, which includes a wide array of Natick newspapers dating back to 1850. And on December 12th, we hope you'll join us for musician Diane Taras, who's performing traditional Victorian Christmas carols. You can register and learn more about these events and many others on our website, www.natickhistoricalsociety.org. And without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome Dan Shea with us. Dan was appointed as the new executive director of the Natick Service Council in July 2020. He comes to the Natick Service Council after 38 years in corporate America at IBM and Arrow Electronics. He's been part of the Natick community for more than 20 years and looks forward to serving our community. Dan's been involved with the Natick Rotary Club, working events like the Tour de Natick and Natick Days. He holds a Bachelor in Science and Computer Science from the University of Scranton. So let's give Dan a warm, if silent, round of applause. Dan, over to you.
Terry, thank you so much. And listen, I appreciate everyone joining us tonight and the time you're giving us all for this evening. And Terry, thank you very much to the Historical Society for giving us this opportunity also. As Terry said, I'm the executive director here at the Natick Service Council. I've been here about 1.5 years. So my knowledge of the Service Council and our 60 years of history is limited, but I will do my best tonight. And as Terry mentioned, I have invited Kelsey Hampton with me. Kelsey is our director of volunteering and of our food pantry. And she has been with us since 2016, so certainly has more of the history than I do, and we'll kind of tag team this thing together. I started off with this picture this evening for a couple of reasons. One is I just love old pictures. But this one, if you'll notice, it is taken down by the train station, actually has the baseball factory in the background. So Terry and I were trying to decide, we think it's probably a late 1960s picture. But the two things you'll find interesting, or I found interesting, is the thermometer for raising or for goal measuring is pretty has been around for a long time. We don't actually use a thermometer anymore, but we do have one for our current Thanksgiving and holiday program. And I'd say we're at about the same level as they were at for the membership drive in the picture. The other thing that I liked a lot is if you look in the picture, the tagline of the Natick Service Council in the 60s was people helping people. And if you go to our current tagline, it is now neighbors helping neighbors. So while it's changed a little bit, it hasn't changed that much. And the Service Council and what we do and why we do it really hasn't changed in its 60 years history. So tonight, I really want to take you through, maybe start out with who is the Service Council and what do we do, and what are how do we help within Natick. And then I'll certainly talk about the history, as that's what we want to talk about tonight. And then I'll end up with just probably one slide on what the future might hold. We've recently completed or just completing a strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. and we've got some strategic imperatives that I can talk to you about. So who is the Natick Service Council? I thought I'd start out with our vision and our mission, as it would help kind of clarify what we're here for. As many people will tell you, a vision is why we're here. And the vision of the Natick Service Council is that every Natick resident's basic needs are fully met and everyone has the opportunity to improve their quality of life. I love this because it talks about everything we're trying to do within Natick. So it's Natick residents, it's basic needs, and it's an improved quality of life. We at the council help over 745 families last year, and we expect to help even more this year. So that kind of answers the question why. And it does it much more eloquently than me. When I talk to my staff, I say, you know, the real vision is we go out of business, right? Because if we go out of business at the Natick Service Council, it means that every Natick resident has their basic needs met and an improved quality of life. Now, we know that's not going to happen, and certainly hasn't happened in our first 60 years, and that's why the mission becomes so critical. Our mission really answers the question of what. And what the Natick Service Council is an independent nonprofit organization that connects, engages, and collaborates with the community to support Natick neighbors who are experiencing hardship or economic uncertainty by promoting self-sufficiency. And there's a few messages or a few things in here that are really important. The first is we're independent. So as Terry mentioned, that the Historical Society is run just on donations and individual and donations. You know, the Service Council is the same way. We take no money from the federal government, the state government, or the local government. Some people actually think we're part of the town, and I believe that's a blessing in some ways, and also has its issues sometimes. But we are independent, and we are dependent on the support of the people in the town, really, and the foundations that also support us. So I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to everyone on this phone. Thank you to everyone who helps us here at the Service Council. And that could be a monetary help, or it could be help by volunteering here. We run our business really with volunteers. The volunteers way outnumber the number of staff here, and we couldn't do it without the people that volunteer here. The second, I think, very important thing in our mission is connects, engages, and collaborates. We collaborate with so many other organizations in this town, in this area, really the Metro West area. Again, from a funding perspective, you can think about a number of the different foundations that help us. But more importantly, from a collaboration, it's with the town and many of the departments within the town. It is collaborating with other nonprofits, whether that be very large nonprofits like SMOC, or more like us, people like A Place to Turn, which is up on Hartford Street, or even the Wellesley Food Pantry, where we swap food where we have too much of one and not enough of another. You'll see that collaboration really throughout our organization and throughout our town and the whole Metro West community. I know when I was first interviewing here, I was talking to Kathy Fair-Chanley, who is our head of case management. And I said, Kathy, what do you do? How do you tell people no? And Kathy was very quick to say, we never tell anyone no. We might tell them we can't help them, but we go and collaborate with everyone else around us to make sure that we can help people when they need help. So I thought that was a great answer and a great way to kind of talk about how we collaborate. And then the last thing is the promoting of self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency is what we want for everyone. We want everyone to be able to make their own decisions, not based on, on where you're from or what you have, but rather what you can do. The promoting piece of it's interesting, and why we put that in there purposely was because, probably a third of our constituents are senior citizens, many of them who have, nothing more than Social Security. So for them to become self-sufficient completely is probably not a goal that's going to be reached, but promoting that self-sufficiency and helping them any way we can is definitely part of our mission. This slide helps you with me basically describing some of the impact we're making in our community. As you can see that we've helped 745 families over the last year. And if you look, there's several areas that we've helped them in. If you look at this area here, 209 families kept in their homes. And what that means is they've come to us and we've helped them from a rent perspective, a mortgage perspective, utilities perspective, and again, sometimes in collaboration. SMOC has a oil heat offering that we often will partner with SMOC on. But keeping people in their homes is absolutely one of our top priorities. Another priority is just financial assistance in general. So besides those 209 families in their homes, we've helped people with, again, needs ranging from medical bills to transportation issues, to as little as an after-school program to make sure that their kids could participate in some type of after-school program. So those are just three of the instances we've have. Another one we do is backpacks and things like Thanksgiving holiday and the holidays at the end of the year. And those basically are times of the year that we help our clients. With backpacks, again, 224 children in the community got backpacks from us last year. That number was over 300 this year. And within those backpacks, it's all of the school supplies that they need. So we work very closely with both the grade schools and the high schools to ensure that any of our kids who need assistance in getting those supplies to be successful is we get those supplies for them. Again, if I go back to our mission and self-sufficiency or promoting it, education is the way to ensure, or at least to get everyone on the right track to self-sufficiency. So whether that's backpacks or getting tutoring, after school, we help our kids learn so that they can grow from there. We also obviously have our volunteers and our food pantry, and I was hoping, Kelsey, you could say a few words about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Dan mentioned, there's a lot that we do at the Service Council. I always have said it's impossible to come up with an elevator pitch for the Service Council because there's so much that we do. And as you can see here, there's so many different pieces of the puzzle that make up the whole. So not only what we do, but how we are able to do it is really a critical piece to our organization. So our food pantry is one of our largest internal programs. We serve over 500 households through our food pantry each year. Last year, we were able to do 2,736 food pantry visits. And obviously last year looked very, very different than years past and how we currently operate. We were pre-packing groceries for all of our guests, and they were picking them up in a curbside model to ensure the safest way to get people what they needed was being done. And then how we are able to do that is through our volunteers. We had 927 volunteer hours contributed over the last fiscal year, which again looks very different. It's usually in the tens of thousands. But with COVID and the pandemic, we weren't able to have our regular volunteers into the food pantry and into our building to help support all of these programs. So you'll see that number looking very different in the next upcoming year. And then for pounds of food distributed, this has stayed pretty consistent. We had 150,899 pounds of food distributed over the last year. That's a combination of food that we purchase through local vendors, local grocery stores and our partnership with the Greater Boston Food Bank, but also rescued food. So we partner with an organization called Love and Spoonfuls, and they pick up at different grocery stores throughout the Metro West area food that is either a surplus, close to its expiration date, or just going to be thrown away at the end of the business day, and they deliver it and distribute to different organizations like ours throughout Metro West. So it's increased our access for our clients to receive fresh produce, heart-healthy foods, and also allowed us to serve people in a capacity that allows them for more choice and dignity as well.
Kelsey, thank you very much. With that, I want to turn to the history of the Service Council. And I'll just give you a little bit of an overview, and Kelsey, again, feel free to jump in if there's anything I forgot. So the Service Council was founded in 1960. It was founded really through all the churches in town. They had each decided that they were individually helping families and people that needed a little extra help. And they thought if they had one central organization, it could be done more efficiently and effectively. And that's really how the council started in 1960. The same year, the Natick Rotary made the first donation to the Natick Service Council. And we've got a long history with the Rotary, both the Natick Rotary and the Charles River Rotary. So both Rotary organizations have been great partners of ours throughout the years. In fact, the Natick Rotary, we've got a partnership called the Make a Difference program. The Make a Difference programs helps kids with after-school activities. It actually started when one Rotarian was coaching basketball in the rec league, and one of his players was constantly showing up late for practice. So he pulled him aside one day and he said, why are you coming late every day? And the boy told him that he had to wait till his father came home because they shared sneakers. So with that, the Rotary decided that they were going to do this Make a Difference program and just help kids that needed whatever help they needed to attend after school activities and continue to be able to create bonds with their fellow classmates. We joined that Make a Difference program when it expanded to the high school. So now it's the grade school and the high school. And we both share in working directly with mostly the counselors in the schools in Natick. And if they call and they say, listen, we have this child who would like to do this activity, we work to make sure that we can make that happen. So great partnership with the Natick Rotary. As we move on, the Natick Service Council was incorporated in 1962. That means we will be celebrating our 60th birthday and or anniversary next year. And we are already working on some plans to do some great things to celebrate that 60 years in business. As we move to 1968, the selectmen approved the first annual Natick Service Council Week. And I believe we've done Natick Service Council Week every year since then. And Kelsey, why don't you tell the team a little bit about what we do during Service Council Week?
Yeah, the Service Council Week is an opportunity to celebrate all of what makes Natick amazing. And what makes Natick amazing is the generosity of our community partners, the time that people are willing to give to our organization, and just being able to feel confident that no matter what, someone will always be there to step up and say, how can I help? Typically, we have our annual meeting then. We're able to recap a year of hard work and what that translates to into helping people in our community. We do some fundraisers. The last few years, we've transitioned to having it be more of a community engagement and volunteer experience. So prior to COVID, we've done a Friends and Family Day of Service, and we've tried to partner with local community groups and organizations to come in and do some hands-on work at the Service Council.
Thanks, Kels. So that takes us into the 70s. The Service Council, starting in 1970, started to provide regular assistance for transportation, camp fees, for children, utilities, household supplies. So again, just expanding on those offerings that we had in the first 8 years of the council. And then in 1983, we started distributing surplus cheese, butter, and dry milk to the Natick residences. So this you could think of as the start of us being in the food distribution business. But we didn't actually have a place to distribute it from. So the town actually allowed us to use town hall to do the distribution. As you can see, 9 years later, we did open our first food pantry. But in between that, more importantly, we got a donation from the Maria Hayes Committee in 1991, and that was specifically to provide assistance for elderly Natick residents. That again expanded our client base from families to elderly also. And I think I mentioned earlier that seniors make up almost a third of our clients today. So it's a very important piece of our client base, but also of the things we do here. As I said, in 1992, we opened the food pantry that was over on Pond Street. And in our first month, we had over 200 people served in our food pantry. So it's been an operation that is, again, as I said, many people, when they think of the Service Council, they think of the food pantry. And it's one of our most important and highly used resources. So we're very happy with everything that's going on with the food pantry. As we moved to the 2000s, we actually moved to our current location in Coolidge Gardens, where I'm actually at right now. But in doing so, we moved into much larger space that allows us to expand our programming, and it allowed us to renovate an area that in the school had not been used for several years. I know I've been here for 21 years as a Natick resident, and I think the school closed several years before that. So it wasn't being used, and it was a great opportunity for us to move in here, rehab this facility, and allow it to help us expand our programming. One of the coolest things that happened as we moved was in moving from Pond to Coolidge, we had to move the food pantry. And the way we did that was we actually created a human chain from the Pond Street food pantry to the new Coolidge Gardens location. And we actually hand delivered bags from person to person to person from Pond Street all the way up to Coolidge Gardens. So it was a great show of volunteerism and also community involvement for the Natick Service Council, and a great way to move into Coolidge Gardens. The next year, another significant expansion of our services. In 2010, we created the Joan H. Brack Center, which is open to assist with job searching and career assistance. The Brack Center was created by a donation from Bob Brack, who was a great supporter of the Service Council before Bob passed away earlier this year. But again, if you think about self-sufficiency and getting there, nothing is more important than getting a job or getting a better job. And the Brack Center has been doing that since 2010. Just this year, and again, this is our fiscal year, so we're about 7 months into it. The Brack Center has helped over 25 people find new jobs or better jobs. And we continue to offer career services. We had a number of programs around women reentering the workforce after COVID. And we're also sponsoring programs now for college kids who are graduating and looking for their first job. So the Brack Center has been a great resource for us that, that has helped us and certainly helped our clients. And then In 2012, we celebrated our 50th year serving our neighbors. And probably the most interesting thing that year, or certainly from a community perspective, is we held a fundraiser in the Verve that year. And we had a loan basically for the refurbishment of the Coolidge Gardens. And they raised enough money in that fundraiser at the Verve to actually pay off the entire refurbishment. So just again, a great outpouring of the community. It was a great event, and we were able to again pay off that loan. In 2013, we transformed our food pantry into a heart healthy food pantry. And what that means is a lot more vegetables, a lot more fruit, lean meats, those types of things. So really focused on the healthy portion of the food pyramid, as we called it way back when I was in school. But the other thing it did is we also included education with that. So what are the healthiest items? What's the best way to prepare them? And at one point we actually had cooking classes to be heart healthy cooking classes also. So certainly that piece of it has been very important to us as an extension to just giving out the food. We want to make sure that we're giving out both the right food and it's prepared healthy for all of our clients. Next on the list is we created Harriet's Closet, which is our clothing operation for people who need clothes either for general use, for school, for a job, anything like that. It's named after Harriet Kane. Harriet's in her 90s and has been and volunteering here at the Service Council for more years than I know. But she's a great lady, and the Harriet's Closet is a great operation. We had it closed while we were going through COVID, but we've opened it now, and the reopening was really around back to school when we had over 50 families use Harriet's Closet to get back to school clothes for their kids. Next thing was 2017, where we created the Sustainable Homes Program. And what this was it was a grant from the Metro West Health Foundation, and they gave us money to basically help people over a longer period of time to stay in their homes. So with limited resources, we've always helped everyone as best we could. What this program really was to take 20 to 25 families and make it a much longer discussion around things like budgeting, around setting goals, around coming back and seeing if you met the goals or what changes you'd have to make to ensure you met your goals. So it was really a deepening of our case management capability, and one that we continue today, although not necessarily just around sustainable homes. So it's really about understanding all of our clients' needs, understanding the big picture, and then helping them where we can, and or getting them to other agencies or other places in town that can help them. Then in 2018, we actually expanded our food pantry once again to do two things. Really, the first is to help more people. So the food pantry was full, meaning we were taking as many appointments as we could, and we needed to create more. So we redid our space, and the second thing we did with it was we actually created a shopping experience. So prior to 2018, someone would come in and they'd say, I want, a box of food or a box of cereal and some butter and some meat. And we would package all that together and give it to them. Starting in 2018, we actually created, what looks like a supermarket. You get a cart when you come in, and you go around the pantry, you pick out what food you want and don't want. So it gives everyone more choice, and it allows us to serve more people. So that expansion of the food pantry was very important to us and our clients. Then in 2020, we actually created the mobile pantry. And this was, again, very much a collaboration. The Metro West Rapid Transit Authority actually donated a bus for us to use. The Foundation for Metro West gave us money to turn that from a passenger van into a mobile pantry. And then the Metro West Health Foundation gave us money to actually buy the food that we would give to our clients. We created the mobile pantry because in talking to our clients, they all get to come to the food pantry once a month, and the food they get there should serve them for 1 to 2 weeks. But what our clients were saying is we really need more fresh products. So think about dairy, meat, and vegetables and fruit. So in the mobile pantry, we actually put all of those things into our van, and we drive to Cedar Gardens. We have it here and elsewhere in town. So for those people, they get the opportunity not to just come to the pantry once and shop, but also we come to them once to ensure that they've got enough meat, vegetable, and dairy for the month. It's been something that has been very successful. Our clients are very grateful for the extra meal and for us coming to them. And then the last thing on our timeline is the Mass Service Alliance Service Enterprise Service Certification. Now that's a mouthful, but this is a project that Kelsey's been working on for some time. So I'm going to let her take you through our certification.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So Mass Service Alliance is the state branch of Points of Light, which is a national organization focused on volunteerism. And the program through Mass Service Alliance is really focused on positioning organizations and nonprofits to utilize volunteers to the best of their ability to have the greatest impact in their programs and within the community. As we've seen throughout this entire presentation, our volunteers are really what keeps the wheels turning of the Service Council. We're a small staff with a large community and a variety of unique needs to fill. So the volunteers are extremely important in making that happen. So the process begins almost like a strategic plan. They evaluate what you have in place. How do you utilize volunteers? How do you recruit volunteers? And how are they actually used day to day in your organization? And then you work backwards from there. So it really highlights and focuses on a few areas like communication, training, community engagement, and creating accessible opportunities to best serve the organization. A few things that came out of our service enterprise experience was utilizing technology more in our volunteer experience and streamlining the volunteer application process, but also looking at all of the programs we serve and how can we incorporate volunteers in them so that our clients are receiving the best service possible as well. It's been a really great time-consuming experience, but I think it's allowed us to deepen our connection and deepen the volunteer roots within our organization. So it's been really helpful.
Kelsey, thank you very much. So that's kind of the history. Very, very quick, I understand. Again, over 60 years, we've had a very rich history here. And just so thankful for our capabilities throughout that time, but also for the support of the community. If we transition now to, what's next, we can talk about a little bit of what's coming out of our strategic plan. As I said, we're really just wrapping this up now, but what we've found is that we've come up with 5 strategic plan imperatives. The first one is program development. We've got a number of programs today. The first thing we're going to do is evaluate those programs and ensure that we're getting what we expect out of them and that they are doing what we hope they're supposed to be doing for our community. More importantly, we want to implement additional impactful programs. And that is, understanding more of what our clients and prospective clients need and want, and how we can do that within the organization that we have today. The second piece of the imperatives is operational excellence. And what I mean by this is just, we are grateful for everything that this community does for us. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can as effectively and cost effectively as possible. So we want to make sure that we are using every dollar appropriately. We have a very lean staff, and again, we thank all of our volunteers because they really help make this place run. And we want to devote as much as we can to our programs and to our clients. The third one is messaging and image building. From a messaging perspective, what we're really focused on is ensuring that everyone in town understands the breadth of the Natick Service Council. In some of the discussions we had during the strategic plan, the input came back that we are the food pantry in town. And that's okay, because the food pantry is a very important piece of the Service Council, but it's not the only piece. So part of our messaging will be just that we want to make sure that everyone understands the offerings we have. And that's across, both our community, but very much for our clients. We want to make sure our clients and any of our prospective clients understand the breadth that we can offer them and help them. We know that some people won't take advantage of the Service Council, and that may be for a variety of reasons, pride being one of them. But I want to make sure that no one does not take advantage of the Natick Service Council because they don't know about it or they don't know what we have. So that image building and messaging is really to ensure everyone knows that that we are here, the offerings and the programs that we have, and the people that we support. Our fourth imperative is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to be an inclusive organization from our board through our staff out to our volunteers and certainly to all of our clients. Our clients come from a very diverse background, and we want to make sure that we are including all of them and equitably working with each and every one of them. And then the last thing is increase and diversify our revenue. Basically, we have to be able to pay for the programs that we have today and those programs that we'd like to go develop tomorrow. And to do that, we have to make sure that we have the right diversity in our revenue, and that we can support these programs, not just here and now, but going forward into the future. So that's kind of a glance at what we are planning going forward. I wanted to wrap up with this slide, and I use this phrase all the time with my staff, which is, this is why we do what we do. And this note from one of our neighbors, I think about a month ago, really sums up why we're here. And I'll just read it to you. I just want to thank everyone for all the help that we have received over the years. Without Natick Service Council, we would not have had so many things like Thanksgiving, backpacks, and Christmas. Natick Service Council is a gift sent from heaven to help people in the worst times of their lives. You made life happy and let us know that there is a light at the end of a very long, dark tunnel. What we find at the Service Council is that, people come to us when they don't come to us, 6 months in advance because they know something's going to go wrong. They come to us when they are in crisis, and that's when we do our best work. And our clients are thankful for that, certainly, but that is why we are here and why the support of this community is so important to us also.
I just want to thank all of our supporters who make programs like this possible. Again, I can't think of a better way for the Historical Society to kind of honor and participate in Kindness Week than by showcasing the work of the Service Council. To our supporters, if you've enjoyed this program, I just encourage you to make a contribution at our website, natickhistoricalsociety.org.